They said it was just an earthquake. But in May of 1992, something happened deep beneath the frozen wilderness of Alaska. Something that would shake not just the ground, but the very foundation of what we believe about our world. It all began with a tremor, a 7.9 magnitude quake that rippled through the remote tundras near Mount McKinley, now Denali. Villages trembled, the sky turned gray with dust, and a deafening hum echoed through the ice. But within days, strange reports began surfacing. Military aircraft were spotted circling the quake zone. Local radio stations were abruptly shut down. Satellite images of the area vanished from public databases. What were they hiding? Chapter 1. The earthquake that revealed a secret. Seismologists at the University of Alaska were the first to notice it. Their instruments picked up something odd, not just the quake's usual pattern, but a constant, pulsing signal coming from beneath the surface. It wasn't natural. It was rhythmic, almost mechanical. A week later, a team of geologists was flown to the area under military escort. They expected to find a fault line, maybe a cave system. What they found instead was impossible. Buried under nearly 200 feet of ice and permafrost was an enormous, perfectly geometric structure. A pyramid. Not a natural rock formation, not a random hill, but a human-made or something-made pyramid, larger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt in Egypt. It had smooth walls, sharp angles, and a magnetic field unlike anything they'd ever seen. Their instruments malfunctioned just standing near it. Compasses spun wildly, radios crackled, and then all communication was cut off. Chapter 2. The broadcast that shouldn't exist. The world would never have known if it weren't for a TV news segment that accidentally aired weeks later. On Anchorage Channel 13, a retired Air Force colonel appeared on a local talk show. He claimed that the U.S. government had discovered an ancient structure buried under Alaska, and that it was not of human origin. The interview vanished within hours. Tapes were confiscated. The TV station received federal orders to destroy classified content. But one technician made a copy. That single tape, smuggled out and later uploaded in 2012, reignited the mystery of Alaska's hidden pyramid. Chapter 3. Whispers from the Cold War. During the height of the Cold War, Alaska was a hotbed of secret experiments. From radar stations to nuclear tests, it was America's Arctic fortress against the Soviet Union. But after 1992, strange construction began near Mount McKinley, fenced zones, restricted airspace, and reports of underground tunnels being sealed. Declassified CIA memos later revealed something called Project Aurora, a joint military scientific program investigating anomalous subsurface geometry in northern territories. In simple terms, they found something under the ice, and they were trying to keep it quiet. Chapter 4. The Whistleblower. In 2003, a man calling himself Douglas M. contacted Linda Moulton Howe, an investigative journalist known for her work on government secrets. He claimed to have worked for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in Alaska. His task was to survey a geothermal anomaly deep underground. But what he described was beyond imagination. Quote, "It was huge, perfectly symmetrical. We used ground-penetrating radar, and it looked like a pyramid, larger than anything in Egypt. The deeper we scanned, the stronger the signal got. and the equipment started shutting down, like it didn't want to be seen. He claimed the pyramid emitted energy, a low-frequency pulse that could amplify or harness natural Earth resonance. Some scientists believed it could be an ancient power generator, or something far older. Then Douglas disappeared. His phone disconnected, his email wiped, and within a week, Howe received a warning from an unlisted government source. Stop asking about the pyramid. Chapter 6. The Ancient Connection. Native Alaskan legends long spoke of the mountain that sleeps, an underground temple of light, guarded by spirits, buried under the ice. Some elders claimed their ancestors came from a city of the north that vanished after a great flood, its wisdom preserved beneath the frozen earth. Archaeologists dismissed it as myth. But what if those myths were memories, echoes of something real? Recent geological surveys have shown that parts of Alaska were ice-free during the last ice age, suggesting early human or pre-human civilizations could have existed there. Could this pyramid be proof of an ancient lost civilization that predates Egypt, Sumer, even Atlantis? Chapter 7. The Magnetic Anomaly. In 2018, a private satellite company called Planet Labs released high-resolution infrared maps of Alaska. Independent researchers spotted something extraordinary: a triangular heat signature under the ice, roughly 50 miles west of Denali National Park. It matched the location of the 1992 quake epicenter. The U.S. Geological Survey quickly requested that the image be taken down, citing national security reasons. Why would a geological anomaly be a security issue? Former DARPA physicist Dr. John Henderson speculated, quote, "If it's a structure that can manipulate or emit energy, it's a potential weapon or technology beyond our understanding," unquote. Chapter 8. The Vanishing Scientists. Between 1993 and 1998, 6 scientists who had worked in the Alaska Survey Division died under mysterious circumstances: plane crashes, car accidents, sudden illnesses. One of them, Dr. Harold Klein, left behind a handwritten note before his death. "It's real, buried deep. It hums when the earth moves. Don't dig," unquote. Chapter 9. Theories and cover-ups. There are now 3 dominant theories among historians and researchers. 1. Ancient civilization theory. The pyramid was built by an advanced pre-Ice Age culture that once inhabited North America. 2. Alien origin theory. The structure was not built, but placed there, possibly a power node or beacon used by extraterrestrial visitors. 3. Secret government facility theory. The pyramid is actually part of an underground military base, using pyramid geometry to test or amplify energy weapons. Each theory has evidence, and each has been actively suppressed. Freedom of Information Act requests about the Alaska Pyramid are met with uniform replies: no such data exists. Yet satellite anomalies, declassified documents, and eyewitness accounts keep surfacing, each pointing to something massive, ancient, and buried. Chapter 10. The Final Transmission. In early 2023, a ham radio operator from Fairbanks, Alaska, intercepted a strange broadcast on a restricted frequency. A faint, repeating tone that matched the frequency pattern first detected after the 1992 quake. When the audio was converted to a visual waveform, it formed a triangle, a perfect, pulsing triangle. He sent the file to researchers. 2 days later, his radio tower burned down. Firefighters ruled it accidental. Chapter 11. The recovered map. In 2021, an ominous upload appeared on a dark web archive titled MK Ultra Subproject Northlight. Among the files was a hand-drawn topographic map dated 1993. Stamped on it was the insignia of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and a red triangular marking labeled simply Anomalous Site A9. The coordinates matched the Denali quake zone. Researchers noticed something odd. Lines radiated outward from the triangle, almost like an energy grid, connecting to distant military installations across Alaska, including Eielson Air Force Base and Fort Greely. When plotted on Google Earth, the lines formed a perfect pentagram over the Alaskan interior. Coincidence? Or was the pyramid part of something much larger, a network of hidden energy structures beneath U.S. soil? Chapter 12. Operation Ice Vault. Leaked Air Force documents from 1995 referenced a classified program called Operation Ice Vault. The mission: secure and evaluate unidentified subsurface architecture discovered during seismic survey operations. One internal memo read, Subject: Subterranean anomaly exhibits active electromagnetic emission inconsistent with natural geology. Recommend full containment, data suppression, and reclassification under ARPA Energy Project cover. ARPA, the early name for DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Agency, the same group that later developed stealth aircraft, the Internet, and directed energy weapons. Could DARPA have been studying the pyramid's energy emissions? Were they trying to reverse engineer it? Chapter 13. The Pilot Who Saw Too Much. In 1996, a civilian bush pilot named Tom Greeley disappeared during a flight from Anchorage to Fairbanks. Months later, he resurfaced, visibly shaken, refusing to talk. But before his silence, he gave a brief interview to a local newspaper. I saw something out there, big, black, perfectly triangular, rising out of the snow like a mountain that wasn't supposed to be there. He claimed his plane instruments failed as he passed over the area. The altimeter dropped to 0, the radio went dead, and for 5 full minutes he couldn't tell if he was moving or frozen in midair. The next thing he remembered was waking up miles away, fuel nearly empty. A week after his interview, he retracted his statement. The paper issued an apology. Tom sold his plane and left Alaska. No one heard from him again. Chapter 14. The Energy Pattern. In 2007, University of Washington physicist Dr. Aaron Schultz published a paper on magnetotelluric anomalies in Arctic regions. One section described a repeating low-frequency pulse originating from the Denali subglacial zone. The frequency, 7.83 Hz, known as the Schumann resonance, the natural electromagnetic heartbeat of the Earth. Dr. Schultz suggested that the structure beneath Alaska might be amplifying the planet's energy field, a kind of harmonic generator that once powered an ancient civilization. Weeks later, his paper was withdrawn from the university's archive. He was relocated to a government research project in Nevada. When asked about it later, he only said, "The Earth is older than we think, and not everything buried is dead." Chapter 15. The Chinese Satellite Incident. In 2012, China's surveillance satellite Yaogan 16 captured deep penetrating radar data across the Arctic Circle. Within months, the U.S. government issued a diplomatic complaint. Unofficial sources claim the satellite detected a massive hollow structure roughly 2,000 feet below Alaska's surface, containing what appeared to be corridors and chambers arranged in a hexagonal pattern. Chinese scientists allegedly called it the Black Pyramid, but all related data was sealed by both governments under an international security agreement. The question remains, why would two rival superpowers cooperate to hide an archaeological discovery? Chapter 16. Echoes in the Ice. In 2014, geologist Dr. Karen Moss led a private expedition to Denali National Park seeking geothermal data. Her team detected subterranean vibrations, rhythmic like machinery. It felt alive, she wrote in her notes. The ice above us pulsed with a heartbeat. 3 days into the expedition, their camp was raided by unidentified men in black snow gear. Their equipment was confiscated and they were escorted out of the park. Dr. Moss later received a letter from the National Park Service. Unauthorized seismic equipment use in restricted areas is prohibited. But the coordinates of their camp were nowhere near a restricted zone. Someone, it seemed, had redrawn the maps. Chapter 17. The Denali Lights. Locals began reporting strange aurora-like lights around Mount McKinley, bright green arcs that moved against the wind, forming geometric shapes. Inuit elders said they hadn't seen anything like it since the 1950s. They called it the sky remembering. NASA attributed it to charged particles interacting with the magnetic field. But residents knew better. The lights come from below, not above, one hunter said. The mountain glows when the ground sings. Chapter 18. The Coded Transmission. In 2019, a group of ham radio enthusiasts intercepted a data burst coming from an unregistered military frequency. The transmission repeated 3 lines of Morse code. The triangle symbol, delta, was unmistakable. Researchers decoded it as a warning or a signal. When the transmission was plotted on a spectrogram, the pattern matched the outline of the Denali Pyramid. Some theorists believe it was not a message from humans, but to something waiting beneath the ice. Chapter 19. The Dig That Never Happened. In 2022, a private research group calling itself Project Boreas attempted to drill into the area. They had funding from a Silicon Valley billionaire obsessed with ancient power technologies. But 3 days before the launch, their cargo helicopter crashed. The pilot's final radio words were, "Compass gone, no visibility, the ground's moving." All funding was pulled, all records deleted, and the investor vanished from public life. Chapter 20. The Awakening. March 2024. A 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck central Alaska. Seismic sensors recorded something unprecedented, a low-frequency pulse emanating outward from the Denali region, lasting exactly 7 minutes and 53 seconds. The same number, 7.83. During the quake, satellites detected an electromagnetic spike over Alaska, similar to the kind recorded during nuclear detonations. But there was no explosion, no radiation, just a hum. Witnesses from nearby villages reported the snow glowing faintly blue, and a thin column of light rising from the mountain, piercing the clouds. Then it was gone. The ground went silent. But something had changed. Compass readings across Alaska shifted slightly, permanently. And deep under the ice, seismic echoes hinted at movement. Not rock, not tectonic, but mechanical. Chapter 21. The Government Statement. Days later, the Pentagon released a short press memo. Recent seismic activity in Alaska is under review. There is no threat to national security. Reports of light phenomena are natural atmospheric effects. Yet hours after the release, all online discussions about the Alaska Pyramid were flagged or deleted across social media. Reddit threads disappeared. YouTube videos went dark. The silence returned, louder than ever. Chapter 22. The Final Journal. From an unpublished notebook by Dr. Moss, recovered in 2025. The pyramid isn't just a structure, it's a machine. It doesn't generate power, it responds to it. When the earth trembles, it awakens, and when it awakens, it remembers. Epilogue. The truth beneath our feet. Today, tourists hike the Denali trails, unaware of what sleeps beneath their boots. Scientists still argue, myth or fact, natural or man-made. But perhaps truth doesn't need to be believed to exist. Perhaps somewhere, far below